So I am a professional commercial and editorial photographer. I do documentary photography. And one of the things I do on TikTok here is show my process for finding good everyday photos. Right now I'm in kind of the downtown area of the suburb that I live in outside of Indianapolis, Carmel, Indiana. And I'm going to kind of walk down the street. Thanks for the likes. Get off to a good start. I'm gonna walk down this trail here, goes all the way to downtown Indianapolis from pretty far north. So it's a cool bike trail, walking trail. It's nice. Yeah, you're right. It is a wealthy area for sure. But like most wealthy areas, not everybody who lives here is completely loaded. Although, you know, when you see this is all brand new building and everything, apartments and stuff, I'm sure those are like, you know, $2,500, $3,000 a month, something like that. Yeah. Carmel is definitely the wealthy area of Indianapolis. But it can have a bit of a reputation. But in my experience, I've lived here for at least 15 years now. There's a lot of good people here, and I don't mind using the rich people for their money to build places like this that are very walkable, bikeable. That's really a beautiful spot. It's a great morning. They've got these like ping pong tables here. I think I saw in some article that these were like, I don't know, $5,000 or $8,000 a piece or something like that. But you know, whatever. It's art. The kids love to play here. It's something to do. So for just a second here, I've got out of the car. I was so excited to get going that I didn't get my camera out yet. So I'll do a quick intro and say hello to everybody. All right, hi. All right, so like I said, I'm Zach. My hair's a little crazy this morning. I just woke up. I do commercial and editorial photography full time. This is the camera that I use when I do these kind of photo walk, street photography sort of stuff. It's a Fujifilm X-T20 and a 23 millimeter lens, which is the equivalent of a 35 millimeter lens on a full frame camera. And the reason I like this lens is because people talk about how your eye perceives things being like a 50. Well, your eye is like in between a 35 and a 50 millimeter lens. It's about 42. So I like going on the wide end of things so I can see a little bit more than like kind of your normal field of vision. And I can get closer to people, objects, things, and still get good photos. So when I do these photo walks, I'm happy to talk about whatever. I will answer questions about photography or talk about the town or whatever. And let me know if you can, you know, if the audio's fine, because I'm using a new microphone on this setup. And I'm going to post this whole thing on YouTube, hopefully later today, if not today, tomorrow. And I'll share some of the photos on TikTok that I get while I'm out, so you can kind of see. But I like to talk about just finding great photos in everyday situations. I'll flip back around. There we go. Finding great photos in everyday situations because, you know, especially on social media, I feel like we see a lot of photos from places that we don't have the means to visit either at all or just not regularly. And I think that, you know, if you're waiting around till you can take a vacation to, you know, a tropical island or go to the mountains to take pictures, then you might be waiting around a long time. So I like to find great photos just wherever I'm at every day. Oh yeah, hey Alex. Yes, I grew up in Fort Wayne from the time I was 5 and until now. I lived in Chicago. I went to IU. So yeah, full on Hoosier here. But it's the dog time, I guess. I don't usually get out quite this early. It's fine. So yeah, just finding great pictures in wherever I'm at all the time, just looking for any kind of interesting composition. Today, just the sun is starting to pop up just a little bit. So the first thing I always look for is where the good light is at. And right now it's just kind of hitting the tops of the buildings. So a lot of times I'll mess around with, what can I get, just focusing on the light. So I'm gonna take pictures while I talk. Usually I can do both pretty well at the same time. My camera wasn't quite all the way set up yet. I'm just looking for those colors. Something I like about this is this minimal color. You've basically got the orange and the blue. So looking for things like color palettes. What I say about color is you're not taking, when you're doing color photography, it's not really about taking pictures in color, it's about taking pictures of color. So where do you notice, colors, and what colors stand out to you? Can you work on the color palette? Can you get like this minimal, orange and blue? Because it's really just two when you're looking at it, because the windows are reflecting the same blue of the sky. That's kind of a nice shot. Now, I'm shooting with a wider angle, so I wouldn't be able to get just that unless I crop it, which some people are anti-crop, but I don't mind cropping at all. And something you can't see in this camera that I'm seeing is the shadows are a little more pronounced. The shadows are a little more pronounced in real life than they are on here. And I will, underexpose my photos a little bit to get the shadows to come out a little bit more. It's kind of, the light's decent. It's just kind of a basic, nothing going on there. So I don't know. That's the thing I love about digital, is sometimes I'll take a shot, even if I don't think it's that interesting, just to see if I actually do like it later. So I have the tendency to take a lot of pictures. So I'm shooting today my Fujifilm X-T20. I am going to post these pics, definitely. So my plan, I'm doing a lot more on YouTube now, doing more longer format things. I'm going to try to do these photo walks on a weekly basis and mix up the locations sometimes. And I will post the full photo walk on YouTube, and then and on that, I'll drop in my pictures. I'll overlay my pictures, and then I'll even show the ones that didn't turn out so great, just to, see everything. People seem to like the ones where I show everything I get from a shoot, even the stuff that I don't think is that good, just to get some perspective. And then I'll post at least one video on TikTok, either later today or tomorrow, and I'll edit it down. I'll show the scene. What I usually do is I show the scene a little bit, kind of pan around, and then there's the picture I took, and then I'll overlay the picture. So kind of like this with the moon in there. I don't know. Again, I'm shooting with a wider angle lens today. I don't know how much you'll be able to see it, but... And then again, I like to underexpose a bit to get the shadows to really... So I did a horizontal picture here that kind of caught the edges of the rooftops and the moon there. So we'll see how that turns out. And something else about... I think a lot of times people I talk to get kind of bored being in the same location all the time, or at least regularly. And I totally get that, for sure. I try to look at it, as kind of a challenge to see what can I do differently, so I'm not taking the same photos in the same places each time I go out. What's different today? What plants are different, or the leaves are changing, or the people are here today that presumably weren't there last time, or just the light is different all the time, every day, every time of year. So just trying to capture the uniqueness of the light each time I go out. It rained a bit last night, so I always look for what's different today. The dampness on especially the plants and the trees really gets some nice saturation. So I always love taking pictures either when it's raining or right after it's rained. I am in Carmel, Indiana. It's a suburb of Indianapolis. This is like a midtown area. It's called. It's not far from Main Street, so I don't know what the population around here is anymore. 30, 40,000 maybe. I could be way off. Who knows? But it's just kind of a mid-size town. I don't know if there's anything here or not. It's it is definitely has kind of an artificial. It's very commercial. I focus on the light first. I look for lines, patterns, colors. I look for people. Look for things that try to give it life, because I do get what you're saying. I don't know if I like this or not, but I'm gonna take it. And again, like I said, I'll put the clunkers in there too. Hey Scott, good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate seeing your posts. I don't know if I like any of these, but I'm trying. And that's the key, I'm just trying stuff all the time. But thinking about what you're saying with the artificialness, I think if I were focusing solely on like the architecture, it might feel kind of artificial. But I try to find what's unique, or where the life is, or even just interesting, like I was saying, patterns, lines, colors, light. And I think that I can usually find stuff that I find interesting. And the more I go out and practice, so like even if I don't use any of these pictures other than showing you what I took on the photo walk, even if I don't post it on Instagram or share it on my website, at least it gets me like ready for the next times for the future, if that makes sense. So when I'm in better, more interesting locations, like I can operate automatically with my camera, and I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I don't have to think about how to get it. I don't have to think about how to get a certain photo. Like I know how to do it. The camera becomes more instinctual. So I think even if you don't feel like necessarily going out and taking pictures where you live because it's not as interesting, that practice comes in really handy. So I'm going to focus on, so what I'm doing in this shot is trying something that's like just focused on the reflection. And what you're not seeing is this camera is very low contrast. So you're not seeing the deep shadows like I'm seeing. So if you come back later and if you see the post in these pictures that I took, the brown is really a dark brown. And I'm, again, kind of underexposing, so the highlights, those lights really stand out on the reflection. It actually looks kind of cool. I do like this one. Probably. And the color, so what's hard to see here is where these highlights are back here is reflecting off of that window. Okay, the building behind me is reflecting off that window and coming down in here. And the orange sunlight and the blue sky, I can see those colors a lot better. I don't know if you can see it if I yeah, I can see the colors a lot better than what you can see in here. So I think this will be a decent shot. And I'm very much of the mindset that I like to work quickly, and I'll try out different things, and I'll take, 5 or 10 shots of that rather than, setting up and really finding the perfect composition and acting like I'm operating with a, large format camera or something where you really have to set everything up and get the photo ready. I like to just move in, try a few things, and move on. Not that there's anything, good or bad about either one of those approaches. I think it's just what I like to do. I'd rather go out and get like 10 interesting, good photos. Take 200 photos, get 10 good ones, then just go out and take like 2 or 3, single compositions. I like to move around a lot and experiment a lot. See, now I've photographed that sculpture before, so I usually avoid it, but where I'm standing right now, and that sun is super bright, and everything around it is a lot darker. It looks kind of cool. So I'm going to do this like really underexpose it, and it's going to be very dark. It's the top of that sculpture is going to be properly exposed, not overexposed like you're seeing, and the rest of it's going to be very dark. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'm going to try it. It's kind of cool. So this kind of, gives me opportunities to try different things. I kind of like the guy with the dog walking through. So, and those are kind of the moments that make things different every day, is just, the people coming through. Yeah, so, okay. What I do when I do these photo walks is I like to keep it really simple and compact. So what I use is this, my Fujifilm X-T20, and I have the 23mm f2 lens, which, this is a crop sensor camera, so it magnifies. This one is 1.5. So my 23mm lens is effectively 35 or 34 and a half if you're splitting hairs, but and I like it because it's a little bit wider than your field of vision, but not too wide. I like to be able to get up like closer to subjects, and this is interesting. Again, looking at the underexposed. I'm shooting like way darker than what you can see on here right now. It's got kind of an interesting, so to compare the two scenes, so that's got kind of a cool look, nice colors and stuff. Thanks. And it's more interesting than what you can see here, but thank you, sir, appreciate it. Yeah, so why does it look analog? Which, yeah, it obviously isn't, but they do. So Fujifilm likes to make their cameras look like retro film cameras. So this has kind of one thing I love about this model, the X-T20, the X100 is similar, is that it's very compact. So like I purposefully chose the f2 lens instead of the f1.4 because it's a lot smaller. It's a very small lens, and when I carry this around, people don't pay any attention to me at all. And so I can get like really nice candid photos because I just look like, a tourist or whatever. Thanks. Yeah, I've had this camera 5.5 years, and I love it. It's great image quality. I've tried their other camera bodies. They have the X Pro series, which are rangefinder style, and those are cool. They're really good cameras. For the way that I shoot, my personal style, not just the style of what it looks like, but how I operate the camera itself. I like the SLR over the rangefinder style, but a lot of people love those X Pro cameras. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you broke the lens. Hopefully he didn't get too mad at you for it. I let my kids use my camera all the time. My kids are 13 and under, and they've always been good about it. I haven't had any issues. I let them use this camera a lot. I also have some Canon gear, 5D Mark IIIs. I've let them use that too. This has kind of an interesting, there's a lot going on here, especially when I'm looking like that. I don't know if I'll take this with a wide angle. This is more of a telephoto lens, but yeah, it's got, some interesting kind of colors and things like that. But hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. So I'm planning on getting out and doing these on like a weekly basis at least, and because I do talk a lot about, like I was saying earlier, I know not all of you were here, I like to focus on working on getting great photos in everyday locations, because if you're only waiting until you're somewhere like traditionally beautiful, then you might be waiting a long time, because we're not all going to the beach or the mountains or the whatever on a regular basis. Most of us aren't, and I'm not one of these trust fund photographers that spends all their time traveling. So yeah, thanks Alex. So what I did is, I'm gonna see if I can show you this in the reflection here. I've got a new setup. I'm gonna take this picture first, but I got a new setup because I've posted at least 2, maybe 3 of my photo walks on YouTube, and one issue is but I like to do them live because it gives me a good opportunity to connect with other photographers on here, and it gives me something to talk about on the live. So I'm just not talking to myself. I can talk to you all and answer questions. And I've gotten off on some really interesting, I'm going to take this picture while we're talking here. Now this is kind of geometric back here with the plants kind of breaking up the hard lines of the building, and I like the colors of the rust set off against the plants, but I'm wondering if I get a little bit closer if I'll be able to see more. I like the color of that umbrella in there too. I'm going to try to get a little closer and see what I like. Now I'm going to take the umbrella out, and this is good. This is a nice composition. Again, I can see more contrast than what you can see here. And yeah, the colors look really good. The blue, like I'm getting a lot of blue in the window reflection. That looks nice. That's good. I like that one. So one of the reasons I wanted to, so I'm trying something different with the photo walks. So, okay. I like to do it live so I can talk to everybody. But then the video I was ending up with when I download the live is a vertical video, which is the most common complaint I've gotten on YouTube, is that I hate vertical video on YouTube. So I've tried this new thing today. I don't know. Let's see if you can see in the reflection. Not here. I've got this setup where I'm doing I can't quite find a good dark backdrop behind there. I've got a GoPro here, so I'm holding on to a little tripod, and I've got a mic over here on this side and my phone here, and then there's a GoPro here. So the GoPro is taking horizontal video, so I'm going to pull the audio from this live and put it with the horizontal video. I don't like that business or those people, so I'm not going to take a picture of their building because I'm petty like that. So this is my little setup here today. I wonder if you could see it in the reflection in my... It's hard to see it anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it's a little more bulky than what I'm used to, but this mic with the windscreen, so hopefully, you know, I used to use my earbuds, but I would get some like wind noise and stuff. But yeah, so now I'm starting to get a little bit of sunlight coming over the tops of the buildings. So this is where I really start to look for what's the light hitting, and you know, what works well. And I'm not really feeling that spot yet. I'm gonna keep moving down further, see what I see. So if anyone's just tuning in, my name is Zach. I'm a professional commercial and editorial photographer. I've been working full-time as a professional photographer for about 18 years, 16, 18. I had a part-time job still early on, so let's say full-time for 16 years. And my background is in photojournalism. I've got my degree in journalism from Indiana University, and I worked at newspapers for a little bit, and then I decided to go out on my own, and I was doing freelance stuff for the Indianapolis newspaper for a while, and then I was doing weddings, I did family portraits. I've done pretty much everything. Nowadays I mostly do commercial advertising stuff. I still do some magazine editorial. So here, this is so looking for contrasts and subject matter. You know, everything you've been seeing so far this morning is this just like beautiful, pristine, new. And then this is like, they just took a building. Well, they moved a building that was here. There was a train depot, historical. They moved it. I don't remember where they're taking it. So seeing if there's anything here to get photos of. Not necessarily feeling it. I don't know. Interested in videography? Sure. So what I'm taking pictures with, so I'm taking these photo walks. I show my process for taking pictures. This is my nice compact camera that I love to use for street and travel stuff because people don't pay attention to it. Now I'm carrying this big rig with a camera and a GoPro. It's not so big, but it's big enough. As big as a camera and a GoPro and a small kind of shotgun mic, one of those camera mount mics. But with this little camera, people don't pay so much attention to me. So I love it because when I travel, I can take pictures in restaurants and bars and stuff, and everybody thinks I'm just taking my own kind of travel photos. So I don't know, here this red kind of stood out to me. I don't know if anything will come of this, but that's one of the benefits, I think, of digital, is that I don't have to think about how much money I'm spending with every frame that I take. And I just try out things, and sometimes they don't work. Like, I'm not sure this will be anything that exciting. I mean, I kind of like the minimal colors here, gray, red, green in the background, but I don't know that that'll amount to much. I don't know if it's worth doing. I mean, I also look for contrasts in subject matter. Hey, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. So looking at these, you know, I don't know how much those are townhomes. So all 3 floors are one unit. I think they're probably like $750K, something like that. So getting this contrast between the work site, I don't know. It's, again, like I said, it's worth trying. I don't know that I like any of those, but you know, you don't know if you don't try. And the more I do things too, like I try to make myself uncomfortable. Like, I think a lot of people feel self-conscious about taking pictures out in public. Like, people are wondering what they're doing, or they're worried about standing out in some way, which I often stand out because I'm lying on the ground or standing on something, or, you know, walking off the trail onto city property. And it's a good practice, I think, to get out and just do that stuff, because I mean, that's how you get good photos, is by going kind of out of the way, asking about the camera. This is my Fujifilm X-T20 with the 23 millimeter, which is the equivalent of a 35 millimeter lens. So now the other thing about Carmel, where I'm at here, is that it's a good spot if you like cars. There's always some interesting cars. I passed a McLaren when I was driving in. Maybe I'll walk back by that way when I leave. But I like the texture, the like, right. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough. Well, hopefully you can get it fixed. I don't know if there's anything I really love here. It's just worth looking at. The carbon fiber is kind of cool. Maybe I'll try something with that. It's something to show the rain drops. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, it's worth a try. There's some interesting color coming through here. I'm taking a vertical, letting my shadow kind of be in there. I think any of the lenses can be repaired. It just depends on, you know, you might have to send it specialty somewhere. If you have a decently sized camera shop in your town, I would ask them if they do repairs, and if they don't, they'll be able to tell you who can fix it. But I think most of the stuff can be repaired in some way. So a lot of times I'll do something where I can see myself in the pictures. I like to kind of include me in here sometimes, because then I feel like I exist. I'm taking pictures. But the trick I borrowed from Lee Friedlander would do that kind of thing a lot, have himself in reflections and shadows and all of that kind of stuff. So let's see. I'm trying to think of where I want to go next. I'll just keep going. So I'm coming up on Main Street here. I don't typically kind of do the sort of street photography where I'm getting up in people's faces, especially in a setting like this where, you know, it's early morning, there's not a lot of people out. It'd be kind of weird to be like walking up to people taking photos. But a lot of times when it's a busy like weekend and the street's full, or there's an event or something, you know, I'll do more stuff that includes people. And if I'm going to do something where you can really see someone's face up close, clearly, I'll ask if they mind if I take a picture. Usually I'll take the picture first and then say, hey, I had this picture. Is that okay? And typically people don't mind. Yeah. Oh, hi, Free Spirit Gem. Thank you. Yeah, I like looking for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I like incorporating that into the pictures. It feels like something, having myself be a part of my photos sometimes. Yeah. I don't know how I should say it. Sparta Anonymous. No, I definitely don't. I'm not typically judgmental of what other people do, but I also kind of feel like, let's let people be a little bit. We don't need to stop everybody and ask them for stuff on the street. I saw this funny video a few weeks ago where the guy was saying there's actually 3 pandemics this is COVID and then monkeypox. He lives in New York City, and people stopping you on the street and asking you questions. Oh, that's good. That's nice. It's a good reminder. Yeah, you're right. The videos get so many views, and most of the pictures are, I mean, the best ones that I've seen are like, okay. Maybe I've seen a couple that are pretty good. I've never seen a great picture. Now, the person I like who does something similar, I like Sissy Lou. She's a good photographer. I like her pictures, and, you know, she asks, I don't know, something about the way she does it feels much less intrusive than most people. I'm in Carmel, Indiana. It's a suburb of Indianapolis. This is the Main Street area. As you can tell, it's all like basically new within the last like 15 years. It's been built up. There used to be all these really old, you know, just small stores and buildings and things here. But yeah. But I feel like some people, I don't know. Some people do it okay and some people don't. But yeah, all the photographers who have multi-million followers, it's because they do those kind of asking people on the street. So, but I want to talk about, like, you know, what I consider real photography. And I know everybody has a different definition of what they would consider that to be, but my background's in documentary photography, so I like documentary photography, street photography, things that are less or not staged or posed at all. I'm much more interested in candid photos. But I will say, in having this TikTok account and researching a lot of other photographers, I've definitely gained an appreciation for people who do like portraits and stuff really well. Anyone from like Richard Avedon to newer people like Tyler Mitchell, I like their work, and I've gained an appreciation for it, definitely. And even though it's not what I do or want to do. Pirelli calendar. So, just kind of, I don't know, looking to see what I can see. There's something with the colors and the reflection. I'm seeing more contrast than what you can tell on here. I'm like, is there anything I can do? Yeah, this is the action in Carmel. People driving to work, going to school. So this is the main street. These are the busy areas normally. Main Street here. And then there's just past this big building, there's a trail, biking, running trail that goes from far north down to downtown Indianapolis. So, I mean, this is where most of the stuff happens. So I don't know if I could get anything with this. I'm going to try it because, you know, I'm out taking pictures. I might as well see, like, what can I do? And I said earlier, I know a lot of people weren't here at this time, so I'll repeat myself, but, like, so much of this to me is practice. You know, while this isn't a photo that I'm going to frame or sell or publish anywhere except for maybe in relation to this photo walk, it's practicing, like, my eye, kind of using shapes, patterns, reflections, colors, and seeing what I can make out of it. I like the contrast with the black and the orange behind it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. So I never know what, there's so many new businesses here all the time. Chocolate, South Bend Chocolate Company. You know, the storefronts make for good pictures too, you know. And I don't mind taking some pictures of the storefront here, maybe getting some people reflected in the background. And just trying stuff out to see what works. Get the people behind there. That's not bad. I'm gonna try it like sideways to get the bar. I'm shooting horizontal, so I can't show you exactly what I'm getting, but let's try a couple more. Take a few shots, move on. Yeah, no loitering. It's all good. I've had people, not here, but other places in the past. I was in Cincinnati, and I was taking a picture of a storefront, like it was a bar, but it was the same deal. It was like sidewalk here, and then there's a window just like this, and I was taking a picture. Now you can see my setup, GoPro. So this video, I'm shooting this horizontally so I can post it on YouTube without posting a vertical video. So then I've got my live here, and then new microphone that hopefully sounds better outside by blocking out the wind and stuff. Anyway, so Cincinnati, I was like this, and it was like taking a picture in the window, and someone came out and was like, "You're not allowed to take pictures in the business." And I'm like, actually, I can. You can take pictures of whatever you can see from the sidewalk. It's all, you know, completely legal. The back of that blind guy van is super offensive. Oh my God. All right, let's see what the back of it. I can see you too. Oh, what? Because they've got... That's wild. People are wild, man. I'm gonna get something with this. I always wonder about the decisions that people make. This is nuts. This used to be this big antique mall. Just one of those ones you think of like a small town antique mall, 2 floors, all the little booths and stalls, and now it's this big like co-working space. It's one of the few buildings left here that's not been completely knocked down. Privacy issue. Oh yeah, the one. So if anybody doesn't know the video, he's talking. Sorry, I'm saying he. I don't know who you are. The video that they're talking about is there was a photographer who was taking pictures from across the street in New York, and Swiss style photography should be, yeah. You can't take photos of people's face. Yeah, the privacy laws in other countries are really interesting. The video they're talking about was like basically like someone was taking pictures across the street, so from like here to here, but they had this 500 millimeter lens, and they were trained in on their windows. The building was floor to ceiling windows, and they were taking pictures in a way that were mostly anonymous. They mostly didn't show people's faces, but they were there for a year. I mean, they did the project for at least a year with this big telephoto lens zoomed in on other people's apartments, watching their lives. And that's something that I have a problem with, because it's one thing like this. You're like, it's one thing to be like, I just was with the barber shop. You know, I'm in public, I'm at ground level, they can see me standing outside the window, and I take a few pictures and then I move on. And even in big cities, I know people use telescopes and take pictures out their windows and all that stuff, but he was trained his giant super telephoto lens on somebody's apartment, on maybe like 6 or 8 or 10 different people's apartments for over a year, like taking pictures of them every day. That's messed up. And, you know, they sued him when they found out about the pictures, because he was an artist, like a known art photographer. But they sued him and they lost because art is covered under the First Amendment. Free speech, artistic expression is all a part of the First Amendment. So, like, while I'm glad to not have our ability to do certain things eroded as photographers, it also is a bummer when people kind of take advantage of that. So, not gonna lie, I kind of want our mouse rat shirt. I'll do a quick reintroduction if you're just stopping in. This is this weird Christian science. I don't know what the fuck this is all about. There's this like Christian Science. I've never seen anybody here. Oh, I guess they're open 1 to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Just this storefront that sits here. I have been to Columbus, Indiana. It's beautiful. Anyone who doesn't know, Columbus, Indiana is it's bigger than a small town, smaller than a mid-sized town. It's noted internationally for its architecture. They have buildings, lots of buildings built by like, Saarinen. Who else? Why am I blanking? I blank on names. Yeah, Christian is different than Christian Scientist. Christian Scientist is like one of those weird like sects, like not like Scientology, but probably not far off from that. The Miller House. Who did the Miller House? Why am I blanking on the name of the architect? But Columbus has like amazing both private and public architecture. They hired a lot of really big names to do buildings there, and a lot of photographers love to go shoot down there. I haven't done any photo. I should go down there and do a photo walk at some point. I've photographed a couple weddings there over the years, and I've been there for other things, but never just to walk around and take photos. So this is kind of interesting. Some spicy hummus, yeah, I'm sure she'd love it. Little Cairo Cafe, that's relatively new here. I don't know, I'm gonna try compositions with this here, see if I can find something I like. I kind of like, so got a little off topic here. So if you're just joining, what I do are these photo walks where I go around and kind of show my process for finding great photos in everyday locations. And so I haven't been talking about that as much, but I like this, the hard concrete and steel hard lines versus the natural, softer leaves, branches. So taking these like very geometric shapes and going against kind of more randomness of nature, and also using the sky to separate. So the sky as makes these leaves and branches stand out a lot more clearly from the background. It also makes kind of this like delineating between the two. So I don't always, and then there goes that. All right. No, here's a shot. That's funny. Like talking about all this shit, and then this big truck rolls up. I actually might like this better. This is like perfect example of serendipity. I love when like random stuff like this happens. So now this is the shot instead. This is like, yeah, this, I mean, exactly what I love about going out and taking pictures. I think I'm getting one shot and then something else comes in and completely changes everything. Yeah, lenses, well, it depends. You can get more depth from foreground to background with the lens, but something I feel like our eyes can do that the cameras can't are process the contrast a lot better. So what I mean by that, I'll give more of an example when this truck moves away. I'm still trying to see what kind of photos I can get with it. Okay, so for example, I'm looking at this scene and I can see clearly all the colors from the brightest point in the sky into the shadows. But when I'm using my camera and I expose for the brighter part of the sky, I lose a lot of detail in the shadows. So I feel like our eyes can hold more contrast than the camera itself can. To answer your camera question, today I'm using my Fujifilm X-T20 with the 23mm f2. There you go. That's the right term. Dynamic range. Our eyes have more dynamic range than than the cameras do, and you can correct for that a certain amount in post. But I don't like my photos to get to the point where they look almost HDR. I never was a fan of HDR. I remember when that started, like, I don't know, 18 years ago or so. It was really popular for a while. But, yeah, then this is one of the only other older buildings here in the area. It's owned by these, like, nutty people. I met them. They've been there forever. There's an attorney on the top floor who I'm wondering if he's even alive still, because I met him, like, 11, 12 years ago, and he seemed like he was, like, 90. Anyways. But they own this building and these two old buildings next to it, and it was like I was going to rent one of them to make an office out of, but they were asking like ridiculous amounts of money. So, oh, thanks, ND Busy. I appreciate that. I want to inspire people to get out and take pictures and just have fun with photography. You know, in some of my videos, I talk about what I think makes for great photography, what I love. But that's just what I love. Everybody loves different things. And I think that it's really important to just get out and try things and see what you like and not worry about whether other people will think it's good. Just learning your own style and what you think is good. And so that's something that I talk about a lot. And I'm bringing that to a new video that I'm doing. I just recorded it yesterday. I still have to edit it. My Bugatti. Hey, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited for the new zine. So I have done the cover. The zine is on sale through the 20th. I don't remember what day today is. 13th. Today's the 13th. So one more week, it's for sale. And I don't design the zine. I just put out a cover. And then people can order it, and then I close the order window, and then I design the rest of the zine. So nobody knows what they're getting inside the zine. It's been a lot of fun to make, and a lot of people have asked me how I make those. So I made a video. I recorded it yesterday, where I talk about both kind of the creative process and then the actual like technical process too. So combining these things where it's not just a tutorial on how I make them from a technical standpoint, but it also is like hopefully inspires people to make them for themselves, saying, you know, like there's no right way to do it. I think a lot of people feel like they need to have a theme for their zine or have a specific series of photos that they do that are cohesive in some nature. Just take a bunch of pictures that you like and put it in a zine. Hey, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Take care as well. And it's really a fun process, and it doesn't have to be so precious. Just throw some shit together, you know? and it's not expensive to do. So it's not like you're putting your life savings into developing a book that may or may not sell, and you don't even have to sell the zines if you're making them. Anyways, so I recorded a video. I'm trying to get it edited down to maybe like 15 or 20 minutes, and I'm going to share some clips from it here on TikTok. So I'm just looking to see what kind of stuff I can get today. I'd like to. So for anyone that's just joining, my name is Zach. I'm a commercial and documentary photographer. I've been doing it professionally, full-time for 16 years. I do these photo walks. I like to do them live and hopefully on a more regular basis. Yeah, the cast iron gates were really cool. But it's funny, one thing I've talked about is sometimes I go to the same spots over and over again. And so I try to get something different. But now that you're talking about it, I'm going to mess around with this. So what I'm going to do with these photo walks, let me tell you, is I'm going to put the whole thing up on YouTube so people can watch any parts they want. And when I put it on YouTube, I'll overlay the pictures that I'm taking. And I actually am shooting this secondarily on a GoPro so I can post a horizontal video, because I know people don't like vertical videos on YouTube. So, so I'll have this whole thing with the photos that I take, good or bad. I'll show some of my clunkers too. I don't mind showing people some things I try that don't work. And I will edit down a couple short clips to put here on TikTok. So in the next day or two, maybe over the weekend. There was a time when I realized everything that I was shooting was at like f2 or f1.4, and I was almost never going above f2.8. So I was only getting these very shallow depth of field photos, and I realized I was missing out on all these other apertures. I wasn't shooting with high depth, and that's something over the last, it's been probably 3 or 4 years now that I've been, hey, thanks for the follow, Edward Brown, appreciate it. I've been working to make sure that I'm using the full range of the camera and not just getting stuck on these shallow depth of field photos, which are beautiful and I like as well, but it's just good to keep my creative options open here. If I step into the shadow, I might be able to show you on the back of my camera what I took there with the gate. So let me move out to the side here. I want to shoot some stuff with the construction, but I don't know where I'm going to be able to stand. Here, oops, sorry. Here we go. Oh, that's hard to see. So that's something fun to do. Thanks for the suggestion, Kyle. Sometimes I walk past things without even thinking about it. I love when somebody points something like that out to me. And then I can get kind of an interesting photo. Yid Rose, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Bill, Hannah. Wow, this is great. Thanks, everybody. I'm happy to answer. I'm doing this photo walk, and I talk about how I look for photos. And, most of us, this is the type of areas where we are. And I feel like if you're only waiting till you go to these beautiful vacation spots to take photos, then, you might not be taking photos very often. And if you love photography, you don't want to wait just on these rare occasions. So I try to get out the shadows in the wall of the building. Like those shadows on the new structure, those are very cool. I agree with that. I'll see if I can get in the spot where I can get them without getting run over. Yeah. Thanks so much. I'm so glad to hear. It's been a really great experience connecting with so many photographers on TikTok. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started. I signed up for TikTok in 2019, but I didn't really use it until late 2020, early 2021, because my kids were doing it and I wanted to go on and watch their videos and see what they were doing and interact with the stuff they were making. And then at one point I was like, I'm just going to post a video every day. I don't know what I'm going to talk about or what I'm going to do. Let's try some stuff with this. Well, I'm getting a little bit of lens flare off the side. That's kind of cool. But I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this. And it's been interesting to see how it develops all the time. At first, I thought I would do kind of tutorial. Yeah, radical communist app. Wide shot. I agree, a wide shot on the site would be nice. I've got a 35, so I can't get too wide. I didn't bring anything wider than that. But that, I agree, that would be a nice shot here for sure. I don't know, I thought I'd do tutorials and stuff maybe, or like how to do whatever. And then I found that just talking more like broadly about photography as a practice and trying to, inspire people to go out and do their own photography and not do it in any certain way, but do it in a way that they find interesting and love to do. And that's been a lot of fun, for sure. I kind of like, if you think of this as a horizontal, I kind of like this, maybe a little wider, maybe like here, across there, down, and back. That's a little tighter than I have available. But no, I like it. This is cool. So yeah, it's fun to mess around with this stuff and see what kind of stuff I can come up with. I'm gonna walk like right along the edge of the construction site and see what's going on. See, it's 9 o'clock, so I've been on for about an hour. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in and, left comments. I'm happy to answer any kind of questions about photography or whatever, maybe other things. It depends. I talk a lot while I do these. I like doing the photo walks as a live because then it gives me people to talk to and ways to interact. I like this reflection. There's a light is reflecting here up this building from the window. You can see it here, and it's hitting this spot, and it's adding this nice contrast and warmth here. Oh yeah, I've only talked very briefly about appropriation photographers. There's a couple. Who have I talked about? I made I used a trending sound to make a video about Richard Prince. He's my, I don't like him. He's taken things too far. I think, it's one thing. So if you don't know Richard Prince and if you don't know about appropriation art, that's basically like pretty much stealing other people's art. And you're really supposed to change it, but some of the appropriation artists change it a little bit and others don't at all. I think it was one thing, he did this thing in the 70s or 80s, I can't remember which, where he took Marlboro, can't say it right, Marlboro, for imagery of the cowboys and basically just reappropriated it for his own work. And that's kind of like a commentary, I think, taking something that's commercial and turning it into art and a commentary on what. So like I kind of get that. But then, he started doing things where he was taking his series with the Rastafarian images. I really don't like those because he just straight up took another artist's photos and scribbled some lines on it, like drawings. Like he drew a guitar on one of the Rastafarians, and I don't know, part of it too is like the guy who did the photos of the Rastafarians worked to be a part of their community, to get to know them, to get permission to photograph them, and it was kind of like a serious combination of documentary and art images. And that he turned them into like by like drawing guitars on them and stuff. I don't know. It's like more like defacing it than adding anything to it. And just being like, fuck you, I'm gonna take your thing and do it myself. And he did a thing later with Instagram where he would comment on someone's Instagram post and then like screenshot his comment with their post and caption and then put it in an art gallery blown up to like, I don't know, 50 by 50, 60 by 60, and sell them for like $50,000 or something. And it's like, you're taking someone's other I don't know. There's a woman whose name is escaping me right now who did appropriation art where she was taking like Walker Evans photos and then just like retitling them. She didn't change them in any way. It was just like, if you were in a gallery, you'd think it was a Walker Evans photo. And I think I'm on to something here. Oh, this is good. Okay, so here, it's hard to see. My focus is in the background. The video camera is focusing on the fence, but my focus is there. And then just, yeah, I always say his name wrong. Duchamp, is that right? I think if you're adding something to the conversation somehow, there's one. Okay, here's one. I made a video about this and I reposted it within the last few weeks. So Warhol like appropriated Campbell's and like the Maryland stuff. Like he didn't take those photos, but he made art out of them. It's kind of like who's that guy? Shepard Fairey, is it? I'm sometimes bad with names. Who did the Obama Hope thing? Like he took a photo of Obama and he made art out of it. So I think that's like, to me, that's fair game. But the appropriation artists who don't change what they're using at all really kind of drives me nuts. That's the kind of stuff I don't care much for. No, that's putting it too mildly. I really don't like that. And oh, sorry, I'm moving you around too much here while I'm trying to get this picture. This is a nice, I really like this image. I'm gonna try it at a different, sometimes I'm curious about trying like a large format photography. I haven't shot film in 18 years. Why isn't my focus working here? But I'd be curious to do some stuff with it and see. So I just found out there's this photo center in Indianapolis. Oh, fuck. Shit. I thought I had my camera around my shoulder, but I did not. And I totally just dropped it. That's a bummer. I think we're okay, though. That's the first time in a while I dropped my camera. Shit. All right, we're good. We're all right. Everything's fine. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Anyways, I'm going to see if I can get back on a sidewalk here and not get run over. I'll keep walking down this way. Oh, there's a photo center here, and I'm talking to them about, I'm going to go down and see what they're up to. You know, let me see if I can show you what I had going on here. That's kind of a cool, you don't have an image, you have the subject name. So you know what you're doing, but you haven't actually started shooting it yet. You can tell me about it here while I'm doing this stuff. I'm happy to talk about other stuff. So I tried a few different, this is a F2, and I tried a few with a little more, I tried a few with a little more, that looks a little dark on the screen, but now I gotta go back. I gotta go back to that spot. You mean you didn't want other people to know what your idea was before you actually did it? I get that for sure. I'm going back to try this shot again because I've got a little bit different of idea of how I want to compose it. So I'm going to try this again here real quick before I move on. It's hard to shoot. I'm shooting one-handed. All right, I'm going to rest my camera on this rig. Sorry, I'm going to brush up against the microphone, so I apologize if the sound gets weird for a second. But I'm trying. I really like this shot. I'm trying to get it exactly the way I want it. The other thing I like about the Fujifilm cameras, it's much more compact, so I can hold my phone and do a live and just shoot with one hand. Oh, sure. Yeah, so you'll be the subject, and it's not necessarily like autobiographical. Something if you repair cars, but that's not you. That's a cool idea. There's a lot of potential that you could do with that for sure. And I'm not sure if you're, if depending on whether you're the type of person who likes to go into something completely fresh without any seeing other people's work, or if you like to look at other people's work to see what they've done. I saw a series of self-portraits by Japanese photographer Shomei Tomatsu, SHOMEI Shomei Tomatsu, where he did a book of self-portraits where he wore these like different costumes and stuff. Not just costumes, but he kind of took on identities. But it was just against a plain backdrop. So that might be an interesting series to take a look at. I like how you're talking about is it sounds like you're talking about being in that environment, taking those photos. That sounds cool. When you have that or post it or whatever, I'd love to check it out. And I'm happy to interact with people too. As far as like, my email and contact info is on my website and everywhere. So if my email and contact info. All right, these statues. Hold on, I'm going to say something about these. So I'm happy to like interact with people. If you want to send me any photos or anything to check out, I always like that kind of thing. These statues are all over Carmel, this town. There's, I don't know, probably a couple dozen in this style. And the artist who did it, J. Seward Johnson, is an heir of the Johnson & Johnson estate. So send it to me when it's done. That's great. I'd love to see it. He's the Johnson & Johnson heir. Like his grandfather founded the company. And he did, I did these videos recently on the VJ Day and Times Square kiss photos. And people were like, oh, there's statues of that, the sailor kiss in Times Square. He did those statues. So my town has the same. Oh, I'm going to go over to it. It's actually just right around the corner. So after I take some pictures here, I'm going to go around the corner. Because I thought I should do a follow-up, because those posts got a lot of views. And people were talking about the statues. Sarasota and San Diego, I think, both have giant, like 20-foot tall versions of those statues. The one here is a life-size version of it. So I'm looking at this. I kind of like the simplicity of the... I've got in my frame, I've got the 2 orange cones and the yellow of the truck. I'm going to cross over here and hopefully not get too close to one of the cars here. If you're wondering, yes, I will stand in the middle of the street. I will stand in the middle of the street to get the photos that I want. I kind of like this as a vertical too. If I had a telephoto lens, I'd try to get that guy back there on that post, but I do not. I'm gonna come over here and try to stand on the other side of the line. See, the bucket just moved over. I'm trying to get the bucket in frame. You're basically seeing what I'm seeing right now. I'm framing up a vertical shot. I'm trying to get only that wall in the background. So I'm very careful about arranging elements in a picture. So that's not bad. But getting the rebar structure on the right fully in the frame, getting only the wall in the background, not showing any of the sky or anything else to really flatten the background. Have some symmetry there, the guy in the middle and then the 2 things on the left and right. So not too bad. So I've got I'm getting low on battery here. I've been doing this for over an hour. I think I started about an hour and 15 minutes ago. When I'm broadcasting live, I usually about hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes is all the battery life that I get. I don't plug in an extra battery, usually because I've got a microphone or headset plugged in to get better sound so you can hear me better. So I'm gonna try something here. Shit, come on, camera. I'm totally getting this guy. I don't give any fucks. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand here like I'm shooting the construction. I'm going to use a higher aperture, like 8, and pull it back a little bit. And then when this guy rolls through, I don't know if that came out. It's worth trying some different stuff. Not everything's going to work, but I'm going to post all the stuff that I took, good or bad, with this video on YouTube. Good morning, don't get run over. Thanks, that's my wife. Thanks, wife. Love you. You probably weren't here, but I dropped my camera earlier. Oh God, it's fine though, it's working fine. Do I have a theme in mind for my walks? I'm just seeing this question. That's a good question. Generally with my approach, my theme is just where I'm at. I'm just focused on where I'm at, what I'm seeing. Well, there's one of these weird trucks. Is that like an electric truck? I just kind of try to focus on the location I'm at is my theme. What I look for while I'm out shooting is always the light first. I'm always looking at light And, I'm looking at the kind of action that's happening around me or the moments. I'm looking for, interesting just like compositions, patterns, light, color. That's, this guy's getting a little precarious up there. He's going to mark that beam. That'd be a better shot if I had a telephoto lens, which I don't. I'm going to take this picture with a wide-angle lens and see what I get. Sorry, I'm moving you around a lot there. Kind of an interesting composition. Sorry, I'm trying to shoot while I'm really zoomed in on that guy on this camera. Let's watch him. He's tethered, but I still wouldn't want to test that tether. I don't know what you're asking me. On shoe, on head. Oh, this guy? Scam Davies. You got to clarify that for me. That's not a bad composition. I'd like to be closer to get that shot. But I've got whatever. Here we go. I'll walk up there. Oh, see? Okay. Here, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this sign here in a moment, because this is something that's interesting to me. I didn't see this. This is why I always tell people, like, you got to just trust your instincts a lot, because I was looking at this and I didn't even see the sign down below, but I like this kind of like juxtaposition here. So I can't tell you, like, every time I go out and shoot, I see something that draws my eye, and then if I follow that instinct and I move in closer, I pretty much always find something else. Oh, this makes me feel real comfortable here. Okay, here we go. But, so I think I like this contrast between subject matter. I'm going to try a couple frames of it and see what, maybe if I get up really close, maybe if I get under it. Oh, yeah. That's cool. %, on my phone battery. So if I disappear, it's been real. All right, I'm gonna get out of here now. Let's take a look. Now, I underexposed quite a bit on purpose, so it's gonna be hard to see. But I like kind of this seeing through the thing. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like that. So, yeah, definitely. That's why I always tell people, follow your instincts, because a lot of times if you move in a direction of something you see from a distance that looks interesting, you'll find something even better. So this is the statue. And so I don't know if some of you follow me, some of you might not, but I just had a post about how a lot of people don't know the true story behind this moment, behind this photo that's been turned into this like icon. I'm gonna take a couple pictures while I and the story is that some people thought this was like a romantic moment when the war ended, but this sailor was just walking down the street like grabbing and kissing women, the war had just been announced that it was over. And, you know, people are like, oh, it was innocent. He just grabbed someone nearby and gave them a kiss. He'd been walking down the street just like grabbing and kissing women at random. And he had been at the movies with his girlfriend. So he had somebody to kiss. It's not like he was so excited and he didn't have anybody to like direct it to towards. And so this is a whole, you know, it's a whole thing now people are talking about. And it's interesting, I think, to reframe how we think about some of this stuff. Okay, this is kind of interesting. You can see through there. I'm gonna see what kind of shot I can get with this. My reflection is kind of getting in the way of what I'm trying to get right now. Do it like this. Sorry, I'm shaking you guys all over the place. All right, here's what I'm gonna try. All right, I've got my camera resting right up next to my phone. Okay, this is better. So I'm focused through the window there on the tux and using some of the lettering and design work as like kind of a design element around it. It's not bad. And this is kind of interesting too. All right. Woo. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate all the interactions, everybody. My battery's very low. I might drop out. So this is kind of an interesting reflection. I'm gonna mess around with this here. Like it. Cool. I don't know. Just trying some stuff with the sign here. But yeah, I always like to try to get out in the mornings or evenings when the light is good. Get some strong shadows and stuff. Now, I don't usually have the ability to get out in the evening, so I mostly do mornings. But yeah, so all right, I better call this here because I'm running out of battery and I'm probably going to go at any minute. So it's been fun hanging out with you guys, and I'm going to post this full photo walk on YouTube either later today or tomorrow. Oh, so we'll see how much of it I get because I'm just now seeing that my SD card is full on my GoPro. Anyway, so we'll see how much of it. We'll get some of it on YouTube at least. So thanks a lot, and I'll definitely also be posting some shorter clips of this photo walk with the final photos on TikTok either later today or tomorrow. So take care, everybody. I'm going to try to do these on a weekly basis, and have a great day. Thanks.